Hey, what's going on, gang? Good afternoon. Hi there. Greetings. Welcome, welcome. Short show today. Guardians game in a bit. But we'll see what we can do until then. Why not? We're going to break that 30-minute mark that we hit on Friday when we came on after the Guardians game. We'll do a power hour today. Anyway, who cares, right? Let's get to it. My name's Alan Cox. Thanks for being here. I welcome you as always. Say hi to Bill Squire, who's back.
Hey, creepy hugs, everyone. Thanks for listening to and watching this episode of the Alan Cox Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share a cold one with the boys.
Poundcake's back in Studio G because he's a real G. People were big mad in New York last night over this rain delay. I was checking I kept going to my phone to see an update on the game, and it said 0-0, obviously, rain delay. And so I was like, okay. And then I go back about an hour later, and it says the exact same thing. I'm like, well, they can't put this off forever. They can't put this off indefinitely. And people were really, really mad out there. And I'm sure that includes a lot of Guardians fans who traveled, that they opened the gates to Yankee Stadium at 5 o'clock. You know, on Friday or whenever it was, when we got information early on that they were going to postpone a game, whichever one of the earlier games it was because we had a lot of information that it was going to be raining here. They were like, it's going to be inclement weather. We're going to postpone this. You know, if certain kind of weather is coming, maybe because I don't know.
Well, that was the game on Thursday that was postponed.
What it was?
That was also in New York.
Okay.
And then,
well, anyway, they did it again last night, and they
hitch.
had people sitting there for 4 hours before they, because
the game,
they announced that at 6:20 there was going to be a delay, but then no information between when they announced the delay and when they called the game at 9:35. They just go, all right, everybody, it's going to be, and then they start playing New York, New York over the loudspeakers, and people are rightfully pissed. Thank you have fun going back to Ronkonkoma or wherever you came from tonight. Have fun going back to your hotel. If so.
Yeah.
It's out there on Long Island.
Yep.
You never heard of Ronkonkoma? I dated a girl in college from Ronkonkoma. And so
she was next to Ronkonkoma, I thought.
What's that?
I thought you said she was in the town right next to Ronkonkoma.
No.
Oh.
My friend's girlfriend is from a town right next to Ronkonkoma. So when they were in town, a friend of mine who was in town a couple of weeks ago, and he and I hadn't seen each other in a long time, so we were catching up, and I was meeting his girlfriend for the first time, but they've been together for a while. And she said she's from Long Island, and I said, oh, where? And she said, a town called Center Reach. And I said, I know where Center Reach is
gotcha.
Because I used to date a girl who lived on Lake Ronkonkoma, which is about, they're both out on Long Island, but smack dab middle of Long Island, but they're about 20 minutes away. So it really made it sound like I knew what I was talking about. But yeah, from wherever people came from, you know, and again, it's not like you're going into Manhattan for these games. You are going into the Bronx. So maybe that's a little easier getting back out. I don't know. But no, not Kokomo, Indiana. Right. But you didn't, when we talked about the Beach Boys yesterday, you didn't even know Kokomo. But you didn't know it was the Beach Boys. You thought the Muppets sang the song Kokomo. Yeah, Rainbow Connection was the only original Muppet song, I think.
That was a hit. There were plenty of Muppet songs.
Moving right along.
Because they
a
lot of their movies are musicals.
Right. Huh. Interesting. So the entire time. So if you had heard, because that song was in the movie, I think it got famous from the movie Cocktail with Tom Cruise and Elizabeth Shue. Kokomo was a big song. An 80s hit for the Beach Boys. Those guys hadn't had a hit in 20 years. Put them back into the public consciousness, and a huge, huge hit for them.
Got John Stamos involved. It was a great thing.
Right, but don't hold that against them. But there is a town in Indianapolis, probably about a half an hour north of Indianapolis, a town in Indiana called Kokomo. So if you had seen the Beach Boys, Poundcake, perform that song or heard the song, you would have said, oh, who are these old guys covering the Muppets?
Okay, Poundcake's not coming through on the live stream audio.
He's not?
Yeah.
Well, I've got him up on all the audio. So I don't know what's going on there. I can put him in the offline channel and see if that changes anything, but it shouldn't. So people are hearing me talk to him, but they aren't hearing
They're not
him.
hearing him
On
reply.
the live stream.
And I can't get his camera to work.
Oh, well,
it's
Cody, it's okay.
short day,
We're just
so-
not
Yeah.
going to see you today. We're out of here at 3:30.
That's okay.
Yeah, we won't see you.
I don't mind.
But I do love thinking of you hearing that song and going, "Oh, these guys are covering the Muppets."
Well, didn't Smokey Robinson say that someone, when Michael Jackson covered his song, I forget what song he covered, but he said he was singing his own song, and someone came up to him and were like, "Oh my God, you cover Michael Jackson?"
Oh yeah, it's a generational thing, but that's got to make the songwriter feel really good to hear that. He's like, "Oh, cool."
I just have to remind myself that the theme song from Big Mouth is a Black Sabbath song.
Yeah,
Because
going
the Charles,
through its changes by
yeah.
Black Sabbath.
because the Charles Bradley version is, it feels like a song that's existed for 70 years.
Yes,
But it's
it's Black
existed
Sabbath.
for 50 years because
Yeah.
it's Black Sabbath.
right.
And this is the Beach Boys version.
Yeah, this is the Beach Boys. Yep, that's Mike Love right there, and then yeah, John Stamos there on the steel drum, and
I think people, when they get mad at Poundcake for not knowing music,
I'm not mad at him. I think
but
it's funny.
you said people do get mad at him.
well, sure. Well,
It's one of those things.
people are
What do you
trying-
expect from Poundcake? Because he's also the one that made us look foolish over that
Erykah
Badu
Badu
song.
Yes, I'm still getting messages from our black listeners.
Yeah.
Alan, you're so white. I've never said anything else, by the way. I am a white guy, but I also kind of know a few things too. But he
It's
got
fine. It was a throwaway line on a mediocre sports break. I'll do better tomorrow.
Not only that, though, people need to remember, and the people who have corrected me, they may or may not know that that song Tyrone was never released on an album. The version that everybody knows is a version she did live. She did Tyrone in concert, and then they put it on like a live album or something, or a DVD or something. But she never put it on an album.
That's genius.
This is from Muppet Beach Party, by the way. Is this what you saw?
Yeah.
They were all out there on the
Because we actually had a park in Oberlin called Kokomo Park.
Mhm.
So when we would go play, my mom was like, "Y'all gonna go down to Kokomo?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go down to Kokomo." Yeah.
So she knew, but you didn't know it was the Beach Boys. That's her generation.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it was never talked about.
Yeah, okay. And
See,
by the way,
we were a big Beach Boys family, so
were you really?
yeah, we
Pet
listened to a
Sounds and
lot
all
of
that?
Beach Boys.
Beach Boys. We listen to the Beach Boys. For our listeners in Sacramento, California, there is a Kokomo Park there too, of course. Poundcake's not talking about that one. He's never been to Kokomo Park I'm assuming, in Sacramento.
No, I've never been.
He's
to
talking about the
Kokomo.
one in Oberlin.
Yeah, there's one right across the street from Martin Luther King Park. They call that Kokomo Park.
Beautiful.
I don't know if that's the official name, but that's what we call it.
Okay, I've got to take a break here. Short show today. Your pregame will begin shortly after 3:30. I will have a couple of opportunities for you to grab yourself $1,000. So be thinking about that. Go fund yourself at 30 past the hour. So the next keyword for you is showing up at 2:30. If you want to text us for anything, 35192, and you can watch live at AlanCoxShow.com.